This, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest mantis shrimp I have ever seen, and by quite a margin. So this is a tiger mantis shrimp, and according to the online resources I've found, this is the largest species of these mantis shrimps, and they grow to about 40 centimeters. So this particular individual must have been very close at the maximum length for these animals. And a lot of times we see mantis shrimps when we dive in the Philippines in these fantastic muck diving sites in their burrows. So they're big animals, but we only see the head sticking out of these burrows with these vertical openings. Now this one, for some reason, and this was in Zamboanguita on Negros Island, and during a night dive, as you can probably tell from the light conditions here, this one decided to run around. And what a imposing animal that was. So these are these stabbing types. They hunt fish by means of their claws, and they have these extremely fast movements. Here you can see my buddy Justin in the background, and he put down a golf ball. So you can somewhat see how big this is in relation to a person. So this is essentially, this is the size of a big guy's arm. And I tried to get more shots of people with that animal together, but this is kind of hard at night when it's dark essentially, and your video lights can only really illuminate a spot, but you still get the idea of what an imposing crustacean this guy was, or girl, I'm not even sure. Now, then these can stab fish, and they have these very sharp claws, so I definitely made sure I didn't get my camera and with the camera my fingers too close to this animal. Mantis shrimp, and a huge one. So this is really the thing about muck diving. Sometimes you don't see much, and then you swim around, and then you end up finding these absolutely fascinating and rare things. I don't think I've actually seen that species running around in the open ever in more than 1,000 dives in Darwin and the surrounding areas on Negros Island. But all of a sudden there it was. So really an impressive encounter. This is really like being up close with a tiger when you're on a photo safari. And this is an imposing predator. So I heard from friends that these are being bred in restaurants for the use in restaurants, and they're being bred in small bottles, which I think is a terrible shame. This is an impressive, imposing animal, and I don't think they should be food. That's my personal opinion. There is also this interesting body of work about the eyes of these mantis shrimps. So they have all these different photoreceptors, in a sense, when it comes to picking out different wavelength bands. They're better than humans. So I made a previous video about that. I'm linking to it. And here again, you can see it run around. So I followed this animal for probably about 15 minutes. It definitely noticed that I was there, but it did not seem to be afraid or intimidated by me. And why should it? So you can see there was some small animal darting out of the way just a second ago. Now, since you've made it that far in the video, there are a bunch of cool books which you might enjoy. There is The Life of Gobies, which of course is about this very large family of small fishes, both marine and freshwater. And I write about their natural history, and there are lots of cool pictures in there, also by Marty Snyderman. 25 future dives about environmental problems in the oceans on our planet, and each environmental problem is explained with a sense of humor in a dive briefing. So I wrote this together with Professor James Reimer. And then there's Your Brain on Diving, which is about the physiology of diving and what happens to your brain when you go underwater and experience higher water pressures. Enjoy.